Shane, who led the campaign for women to drive in Saudi, spent nearly 3 years in jail. She was released, but is subject to a
약
Trump ban.
2km
It basically
좌회전하세요.
covers up the situation. It gives a false impression of what is happening in the country. People would think of Messi or Ronaldo when thinking of Saudi Arabia rather than thinking of my sister Lujay.
What message would you give to the players?
So my message is, stand in solidarity with the people of Saudi Arabia. You can't change things. I don't think that they should underestimate the power they have if they speak up.
Saudi Arabia's quest to modernise and diversify through sport is set to continue. Even a World Cup bid is on the cards. The kingdom is often accused of using big international events to brush up its image and reputation. But as the sports minister told us, no amount of criticism will stop.
Wouldn't want to host the World Cup. We host a lot of events in the region. We have to look forward to the future and we have to focus on this. And these events do help in these changes that are happening socially, economically, and all of the reforms that are happening in the region.
Alex Kapsik reporting there. And if you are like me and love your football, head over to our website. There you will find all other sports as well, like the coverage of the end of the English Premier League this weekend, but also about tennis, which I also love, as the French Open kicks off. We have all that and more in sport because Rebecca Adams will be here in the next 20 minutes or so. So stay with us if you can. This is Newsday on the BBC World Service. This is the BBC World Service, where Krassi Twig from BBC Monitoring is tracking global trends.
We live in a time of information overload, with conflicting agendas playing out in the world's media, where things aren't always what they seem.
A flurry of disinformation.
It is fake news. Fake news. Pretty tough environment for journalists.
So how can we better understand what's going on? At BBC Monitoring, we track and analyze media in 100 languages. We fill gaps and join dots, so you get the bigger picture.
Minha missão principal aqui é falar sobre Jesus.
My main mission is to talk about Jesus, but I can't close my eyes to what is happening.
In this episode, we're looking at how Latin American evangelicals are using the power of social media.
과속 방지턱이
Global
있습니다.
Jigsaw. Sunday at 10:30 GMT.
Welcome to Newsday from the BBC with Victoria and Andrew this morning.
We're hearing about celebrations in Turkey after President Erdogan's election win there, and Nigeria's new president Bola Tinubu will also be sworn in today.
Hear from Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan about the government crackdown on him and his supporters.
And Rebecca has news of the climax of the English Premier League season after the latest world news.
BBC News
과속
with David
방지턱이
Harper.
있습니다.
After his re-election for a new 5-year mandate, Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has promised to build a strong economy. He said it was time to put rivalries aside and unite around national goals. Leaders around the world have congratulated Mr. Erdogan on his victory. 13 protesters are appearing before a Hong Kong court in a case related to the storming of the city's legislative council almost 4 years ago. 7 have pleaded guilty, including the former University of Hong Kong Student Union president. President Biden has finalized an agreement with the Republican Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy, to suspend the federal debt ceiling for 2 years. He said the threat of a catastrophic default was now off the table. Mr. McCarthy voiced optimism the deal would get through Congress. The Ukrainian capital Kiev has endured a new wave of Russian drone attacks on Monday morning. The Ukrainian military said it shot down more than 40 aerial targets. There were no major damages or casualties in Kiev. Sunday's regional and municipal elections in Spain have produced a severe setback for the Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez. The Socialists have lost the key regions of Valencia and Aragon. The Japanese Defense Ministry has ordered its forces to destroy any ballistic missile fired by North Korea that threatens its territory. The announcement is a response to North Korea's plans to launch a satellite in the coming days. Tokyo suspects it may be a ballistic missile. The French capital Paris will host the second round of international talks on tackling plastic pollution later today. Government ministers, representatives of industry and campaigning groups will discuss how to achieve the UN goal of having a treaty ready by 2024. 300 million tonnes of plastic are being produced of the Soviet Union, has died at the age of 89. BBC News.
Thank you very much. Welcome to Newsday with Victoria and Andrew. The challenges of Nigeria's economy on the way in just a moment.
Also on the way, we'll hear from Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan on the crackdown of his party.
It's a big day then in West Africa's economic powerhouse, so let's look at the economic challenges that Nigeria's incoming President Bola Tinubu will inherit. Slow growth, record debt, shrinking oil output, just some of the problems he'll have to address as he's sworn into power. Let's understand a bit more about the task in hand with Shakiruddin Taiwo, Nigerian economist based in Johannesburg in South Africa. Shakiruddin, thank you so much for being with us. Which of those challenges is the most pressing, would you say?
Oh, thank you very much for having me on your network. So I think it is clear as a country that Nigeria is facing major challenges, and just like you have mentioned, some among them: insecurity, macro instability, currency instability, inflation, social exclusion, non-inclusive economic growth. But the most pressing for the next administration that will be starting, as at the end of this morning, will be addressing Nigeria's poor state of the economy. And out of this challenge, the most pressing issue is dealing with the rising public debt. That is a major economic issue at the moment.
If we look at debt as compared to GDP in Nigeria, the comparison is much more favourable than in many other African nations. So why is it such a big concern, just because Nigeria is so significant?
So it's important that we understand that in analysis of issue around debt, there are some indicators that analysts consider, and Nigeria seems to be favorable in one of the many indicators, which is the debt to the GDP ratio, which is currently, as at 2022, at 35.1%, and this is less than 5% from breaching the IMF's debt sustainability threshold of 40% of GDP. And the indicator being considered here is only looking at the carrying capacity of the Nigerian economy to accrue debt, and looking at the size of the Nigerian economy, biggest economy in terms of GDP in Africa, Nigeria would accrue more debt. However, the most important indicator, and while the private sector people are concerned, is Nigeria's debt service to revenue, which actually examines the capacity of the government to repay its loan. In 2022, this was 96% of revenue, and this means for every 100 naira earned by the Nigerian government, 96 naira is used in servicing new or old debt. So this is clearly unsustainable for the country, and it's also instructive that if this continues, it's going to greatly affect government effectiveness in playing its major economic roles of stimulating economic growth, ensuring economic stability, checking market distortion. And if this continues, we also know it's going to affect foreign investment that would come into the country, which this new administration needs. At the moment, the current credit rating of the country is B negative on the Fitch rating and the S&P rating. It is CAA1 on Moody's rating, which is around 3 steps before it gets to the junk status.
I understand.
So this is clearly unsustainable for Nigeria.
I just want to have a quick minute on oil and gas, because it's such a big part of the economy and there are real problems. What does the new administration need to do to help the oil and gas sector?
So I think the new president is actually clear
Shakira-Dean, thank you. I'm sorry that the line was breaking up a little bit towards the end of our conversation with Shakira-Dean Taiwo, who's a Nigerian economist. We'll have more on the changeover of power in Nigeria in the next few minutes.
Now, the former Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan may still be out of prison, but his political power has taken a severe battering. In the past month, as the authorities have launched a major crackdown against his party. Many dozens of his party leadership have quit. Thousands of his supporters are in prison, with some due to be tried in military courts. Mr. Khan has called for talks with the military, with what he says to ease the standoff, but the politician looks increasingly isolated. Our Pakistan correspondent Caroline Davis has been to his home in Lahore to speak to him.
It's not a question of what I have done wrong.
과속
It's the
단속하고
dismantling
있습니다.
of a democracy taking place.
So you're not taking any responsibility for any of the things that you've said or done?
Absolutely not one thing I have said which could have led to this. Not one thing.
Pakistan is in political chaos at the moment.
Since when has being a political opposition, holding public rallies, bringing awareness amongst your people, mobilizing your people for elections, since when has that been supposed to be disruptive or creating problem for a democracy? In fact, a democracy dies when there is no opposition.
But this isn't about democracy, this is about getting you back into political power.
In any case, this is the election year. So in any case, we would be going into the elections and public rallies right now. And the entire party is virtually being put into jail. All the senior leadership. It doesn't happen in a
과속
democracy.
단속하고
This doesn't
있습니다.
happen when there's rule of law. So what you're
So
saying,
you put some of your opposition into prison as well.
you can't even compare what's going on. What?
You use the same system that
과속
they're using.
단속하고
Absolutely
있습니다.
not. Look, 95% of the cases against the opposition were before our time. We inherited them. So the cases were ongoing. We didn't bring these new cases on them.
과속
There are
단속하고 있습니다.
150 cases on me in the just last few months. It's never happened in this country.
But it does happen in this country. Whoever's in power puts the opposition in prison, and then it reverses when the next power comes in.
What they were asking me was, you must get the facts right. Their cases we inherited their cases, corruption cases, made when they were in power.
You said that you want to have these discussions, you want to have negotiations. Your position now is substantially weaker than it was a month ago. So what is it that you are going to offer that you can put on the table now that you didn't put on the table a month ago?
Look, the moment my position will be weak is when I lose my voters.
Your party have said Imran Khan is our red line. They've said that for months. What does that mean?
That what it means is that the sort of things that have happened in this country where there's no rule of law and they've been picking up people and that all these cases against me, that if they think they'll sit quietly and do nothing, if they shove me in jail, there would be a reaction.
But you know, that does sound to many like a threat.
Well, I didn't make it threat. It's the workers and the party members.
You can't separate yourself off because you are the party.
So what am I supposed to say then? If they say Imran is my red line, I'll say no, I'm not their red line. What should I say?
약
You can't then
700m
say that you are not partly
선거
responsible
대책위에서
for
제작
whipping up an
방문
environment in which people
좌회전하세요.